Hello and welcome to Communicore Weekly. I'm George.
And I'm Jeff. Let's get right to it.
Hop, step, jump, and skip. We took a trip, and this is our trip
Have you ever had that feeling of an annual pass burning a hole in your pocket?
Nope. Tell me about it.
Oh, well, it expired on March 27th, and I knew that I needed one last trip under my belt. So I packed my bags and my camera and headed down for a 3-day research trip, mainly to get bathroom photos for the show, of course.
Bathroom break. Yay!
I got to the Magic Kingdom on Tuesday and started filling up my memory card. I snapped pictures of signs, buildings, carts, and posts, the regular stuff we take pictures of.
Of course.
Of course. It was fairly crowded. Lines had the day as an almost 9, and the lines were bordering close to an hour. I beelined for my favorite part of the park, Adventureland. The one thing I noticed right off the bat was that the sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom seemed to be everywhere in Adventureland and Frontierland. I never saw less than 4 to 5 people waiting to play anytime I walked by. I do believe Disney has a hit on their hands. It was never too disturbing and seemed to fit well. And no, Jeff, I did not get a chance to play.
That's okay, because we are totally going to play next time we're down there for hours. I'm stealing people's cards.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Wear a little mask, and we may have to schedule that for October. But moving on. I met up with some friends in the afternoon, and we headed over to Storybook Circus. Let me tell you, the whole area is wonderful and beautiful. And if it is any indication, then the rest of Fantasyland is going to be off the hook.
Now, we hear a lot about Fantasyland, the new Fantasyland and the Storybook Circus coming out right now, but did you have a favorite part of it that was open that you saw?
Yeah, hands down, it was the roundhouse/restroom area. And we've got a thing for bathrooms. It is a beautiful building dedicated to one of our favorite subjects, of course. But the whole area is gorgeous, and any fan is going to fall in love with it. It's got beautiful brick architecture to it, and it just looks fantastic. The rest of my evening was spent riding attractions, including the Haunted Mansion, and getting lots more pictures. I did have the opportunity to eat at Narcoossee's that night with the group, and it is beautiful. But make sure you bring a large money bag with you.
I'll bring that guy from Monopoly. He might be able to help me out a little bit.
Yeah, get into Narcoossee's free card.
Ooh.
Yes, that might work. Well, Wednesday morning was all Epcot, and I knew I needed to get a lot of pictures of Flower and Garden and lots of Epcot bathrooms. The displays were stunning, and it was amazing to see how they played with color. Around lunch, I had a snack at Yorkshire County Fish Shop and headed deeper into World Showcase.
Now, before you go on, we need to know, did you start at Mexico or Canada? Because I know that's a big thing with us. Where did you start?
Well, I thought I'd go against the grain, and I did start in Canada. Well, hey, it wasn't me. One of the members of the party was looking for this cheese Danish, and we went to a specific place, and it wasn't there. And it used to be by Canada. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I'm not blaming Martin Short, but that's all I'm saying.
He probably ate it, but whatever.
He probably ate it. Well, the group, we had 2 o'clock ADRs at Via Napoli, so we had plenty of time to soak in the countries. We spent some time in Morocco, which is a wonderful country to be in when the bottom drops out of the sky.
Of course.
And we spent some time in the little-known history museum that's there. I had to go back and buy Pokemon for my kids in Japan before lunch. I did not see a Pokemon kid display there.
That would be cool, though. I would buy a Pokemon kid. I'd catch them all.
You'd get in trouble. It was the least I could do since I was on a research trip and they weren't. I do have to admit, Via Napoli was astounding. It's the first time I had ever been there, and it was the best meal that I had that week. If you get the chance, you need to spend some time there. We hit a few more pavilions before we headed over to the Magic Kingdom. And of course, did the Haunted Mansion, the People Mover, Carousel of Progress, Pirates, all the great rides. And then we skipped over to Ohana for our evening meal. It was my first visit for dinner. I've been there for breakfast, and that's great. And I have to admit, I'm not that much of a big fan.
For the dinner menu?
For the dinner. Yeah, it was really noisy. They did some parades, and kids were walking around shaking things and throwing stuff. And
Interesting.
And I never felt like I got enough food either. But that's another story for another type of blog. And Thursday morning started off with a great breakfast at the Grand Floridian Cafe, and then a monorail ride over to the Magic Kingdom. And I was very, very excited about the day since it was all Magic Kingdom, nothing else the whole day. And I had a special lunch planned, but I'll tell you about that in a second. Did the Haunted Mansion again, and Pirates of the Caribbean again, and took a lot of pictures of the whole area, including some of the ground and lampposts and things like that.
Just the stuff we want to see.
Just the stuff we want to see.
Of course.
At 12 o'clock, I met up with Imagineers Alex Wright, Jason Grant, and Leslie Kramer at the Columbia Harbor House. We had a great time talking about wallpaper, hidden details, and Twitter, of all things.
Of course.
Of course. After lunch, we headed over to the Sunshine Seasons Pavilion for a citrus swirl.
How was it?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic.
Awesome.
Loved it. It was great, and the company was even better. After lunch, the group was able to do some Tomorrowland stuff, including my now second favorite ride, the Carousel of Progress.
Yes.
Yes,
I
love
love
it.
that.
I did end up riding the Haunted Mansion times that day, which is okay. I don't have a problem.
I'm okay with you riding it 4 times.
I was great. I closed the park out that evening, said goodbye to Mickey from the train station, and sadly left the park. And, my next question is it too early to plan my next visit?
Absolutely not.
He's a nerd, he's a geek, but we all like to hear him speak. So listen up to the words from his speech. It's George's Book of the Week.
Jeff, they say that you always remember your first love, right?
They do, and I do.
Well, it's the same with your first Disney book.
Never forget your first.
Never. I picked up the 1994 version of the Walt Disney Souvenir Guide during a May 1994 trip.
Oh,
Go
that
figure.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. And from that moment, I was hooked and started buying every Disney theme park book I could get my hands on, which has then led to every Disney book I could get my hands on. But what I love about this book really is twofold. It's a look back at the Walt Disney World from my 1994 trip, and it's a great historical look at the property. The book offers a brief introduction to Walt Disney World and then looks at each park land by land. The guidebook is what I call one of the transitory guides. It's straddling the pre-Eisner guides that were focused heavily on explaining Walt Disney World, because nobody really knew what it was at the time, and sharing behind-the-scenes info, and the post-Eisner guides that are more of a marketing tool. There are an amazing amount of historical photos in the guide, mixed in with the obvious, these are cast members posing photos.
No, they're not posing. They're actually doing those things.
And enjoying themselves,
Of course, and not getting paid for it.
Not at all. Some of the photos are quite entertaining. By far, the reason I love books like this is because of their historical significance. In a time before digital cameras, people didn't document the parks like we do today. I mean, they took pictures of their family standing in front of stuff, which I guess was good for them, but not us. Not at all. There could be one of the rare photographs of a ride, restaurant, or hotel room that is gone or has gone through drastic changes, or you might see something that you hadn't seen in years. Unfortunately, Disney stopped producing these a few years after the Millennium Celebration. I wonder if it's because so many people take a bazillion photos.
Probably.
Now, probably. Jeff, do you collect any of the souvenir guides?
I do not. I have a lot of the park maps from like every vacation I've ever taken, but none of the souvenir guides, and I really should start collecting them.
I may have to give you a list.
You may have to.
Sometimes it's a 1, sometimes it's a 2. When you gotta go, what you gonna do? It's a bathroom break. A bathroom break.
We asked a good friend, Chris Wood from Everything Walt Disney World blog, who was on the inaugural cruise of the Disney Fantasy, to send us some great bathroom break photos. She was able to grab a bunch of different photos from all over the ship, including some of the public restrooms near the cabanas and the ones in the staterooms. The public restrooms have incredible full-length doors which make it very private and fancy.
Sometimes you might see it, sometimes you don't. Hey, look, what's that? It's a five-legged goat.
Starting near the stockade in Frontierland, the Little Mississippi flows from the stockade to the rivers of America. Defining itself as a major tributary, the Little Mississippi helps keep the rivers of America flowing. Another great five-legged goat is the bridge you walk over when you pass over the Little Mississippi. It is also a defining point between Liberty Square and Frontierland.
Thanks so much for watching.
Be sure to leave us a comment
And email us at communicoreweekly@gmail.com.
like us on Facebook,
And make sure to follow both of us on Twitter.
be sure to enter the Fantastically Fuzzy Photo Contest,
I'm George,
and I'm Jeff.
and we're from MiceChat.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on Communicore Weekly.
Food baby.